Okay, welcome to Shays Spiritual Insights. And we have Susan and Paula and Marci and myself. Wow, so glad you're here. Oh, and Denise. Hello, Denise.
Oh, hi, Denise.
Um, you're muted, I think, Denise. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have a couple opening comments before I start, and then just open it up to everyone. We'll go around. Um, I've had a dream about a week ago, and I think Susan already heard about this. And in the dream, it was kind of a sunny day. It looked like Southern California, like I'm standing looking at a road, and on the other side of the road is the beach. And the beach is, 20, 30 feet to the water. It's all sandy. As I'm watching this, and there's cars going by, and I'm seeing the tide instantly go out about a half mile. It's like one time I'm looking at it, the tide's in, and the next moment it's out. And then again, in the next moment, a few seconds later, it's back in. And I'm watching this happen. And I became aware what that's talking about is there's a lot of dynamism. I guess that's the word I'm going to use, with the collective unconscious of our soul group. There's a lot happening, and you're seeing it happening out in the world. And it has to do with the fact that things are getting sorted out. New energies are coming in. I'm going to borrow your phrase for it, Susan, the dark side or whatever you called it, the dark forces, however. But those that want to hold on to the old are trying to do their last ditch effort to keep things in the way that used to be and to keep control. But of course, the light always wins. But that's what's happening. That's what the tide meaning in and out. So there's a lot of dynamism going on right now with the soul group. And one of the things that I've become very much aware of over the past, 10, 15 years, is that when we designed our life plan, we can see, and all those that help us design our life plan, our guides, can see what's happening in the soul group. And what we do, because of the energies of the soul group, is kind of the atmosphere we're breathing. That soul group energy is the collective, and we're part of it. It's kind of like the air we breathe. It's around us. And we use the energies that the soul group is having happen, the things that are happening to the collective, to match with the learning that we have so that we can take advantage of it in our own lives. So you're going to often find that when things are happening dynamically out there in the world, stuff's happening in our lives. It can be positive or negative or however we perceive it, but you're going to notice a convergence where the two line up. And so if people wonder, well, why is all this stuff happening out there and why is this stuff happening in my life? That's one of the reasons it happened. So my higher guidance and the divine wanted me to bring up that dream, because that's why they gave it to me, was to share. And so lots happening out there. And of course, lots happening with us. And as light workers, it's really important as we're anchoring all these energies in, that we stay focused and not get caught up in what the Buddhists call samsara, the whirlpool of the world. We stay centered in our axis mundi with the divine. And when we do that, things go so much more smoothly. So that's all I have to share. So with that, I'd like to go around. I'm going to just start at the top left of my screen, which is Susan Joy, which is always, what a perfect name for you. It's always a joy to see you. And so do you have anything to share, to ask, or both? I would love to hear
I have,
the group.
what's happening is, from my point of view, is being with other people in my treatment room, is I'm encountering a lot of people who are experiencing vertigo. Not a lot, but enough.
Mm-hmm.
And also, from my point of view, I've been walking around lately thinking, have I had a mini stroke or something? Because my body doesn't want to do what I want it to do. So, in terms of those two things, from your point of view, what do you have to say about that?
Well, that's been back up. That's been a topic for a lot of the posts that we've had. And it has to do with all these new energies coming in. What's happening is our frequency is being raised, and this is really a shift. This isn't just a gentle one. We're being shifted to like the next octave up. And all our energies of our being are being re-anchored there. And of course, it takes a while for us to integrate those energies. You know, it's like somebody handing you a tool. It takes a while to learn how to use that tool very effectively. And at the same time, old energetic connections to the etheric realm that no longer serve us, and grounding points that are both psychological grounding points meant for our mental body, emotional body, causal body, all the different bodies are being detached and new ones being made. All of those things, these anchoring points, are our psychological centering, and they're also the ones our body uses for it to operate properly. So what you're experiencing is you're basically having this detachment and reattachment. You're going through an integration process. You're shifting, and your body is having to go with it, and it takes a while. And so that's part of what you're going to have happen, and it's going to affect you again emotionally, mentally, and energetically, all at the same time. Probably in different ways, but that's what I'm seeing with so many people.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, another couple of things here, more personal. I remember when we had our gathering out at whatever that retreat was up Graves Creek. I've forgotten about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I met a spirit individual who I named Enoch.
Ooh.
And from your point of view and what you get, is Enoch still around?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, actually, very much so. Yes.
And does Enoch, in terms of the path with what I'm doing for myself and for any others that I'm with, does Enoch have anything to say?
Well, it's funny you say that, because the minute you said his name, he showed me what he's doing. He's doing some things that you're tacitly aware of, but he's really working heavily under the water, under the currents. And so he intends to continue doing that for a while. He's going to become more overt with you once some things are done, and it's an integration and things that are happening with you. And I think you know what those are. I think those are the things you sense happening in your life, and it's shifting you up to move to where you need to, where it's part of your life plan, but part of what just moving into these new energies that are part of the rest of this life, but are also going to serve you in between lives, and if you decide to have future lives. That's what he'll let me tell you.
Okay, yeah, because I had a sense. I mean, he's huge. He is huge.
Yes, and energetically. Yes.
Continue. And one last question here is that the Palladians, I've always sensed that they're part of me, because I see electric blue. If I'm doing work, I'm sensing that they're still there.
Oh, absolutely.
Is there anything that they have to say to me in terms of my being of assistance? Boy,
I have three things. I get it all kind of at once, and I have to sort it out. But my answer is I'm going to try to keep it kind of high level. Yes, keep working with them, keep seeking them. They're have more for you than what you're utilizing currently, but part of that has to do with this integration that is happening in your life, and Enoch and all that. Just keep yourself open to them, and as you do, and as you seek to have more, when it's appropriate, more will be available to you.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Hi, Lisa.
Oh, you're welcome. So thank you. Well, Denise, I'm gonna shift around here. This is the first time you've been with us, I think.
I know, I've missed the last two. I've had commitments ahead of time. Oh, okay. Sorry, somebody's picking up at the front door. But hi, Lisa. Hi, Pat. Hi, Jessica. Hi, everybody. Paula and Jeff. Thank you so much for doing this. Yeah, it's been a wild couple days. Not gonna lie, and I really heard what you said about, whatever's going on inside of us is, being represented out there, and also vice versa, right? Mm-hmm. And I've noticed it with a lot of people around me, but the last couple of days, I'm not one that gives a ton of energy to Mercury retrograde, but I've been feeling those kinds of things, technology and glitches. And I had a bank fraud thing and, you know, just all kinds of things like that. And I know it's a full moon and, you know, typically it's kind of fun to just blame it on the universe and everything that's happening in the world. But it's been kind of a wild couple days with a lot of people around me. And so again, you know, when you say what's going on is being represented out there, and I don't know that I'm as affected by all of it as everybody around me, but lately I have felt that way last couple especially. So, but also really good things are happening too. So I just thought I'd bring up the crazy first.
Yeah. And so that seems to be, it has to do with the energetics of all the stuff you're doing. And it does coincide. And they talked about this in the Upanishads, the Vedic writings, in the 9th century BC. And just real shortly, and it just echoes of what we've been talking about, that, you know, when we recognize, let's say, I'll talk about the Greek gods. If we talk about the Greek god of Zeus and the energies and the attitudes and the characterizations of that, the nature of Zeus, and how people say, well, I relate to that god and I can really connect with Zeus. What the Upanishads realized is that for us to recognize that in Zeus means those are the energies operating in our lives, and we're seeing it projected out there with Zeus or whatever has happening in our life. But what we see out there is really a reflection of, it's the mirror of who we are. And if we know that, that can be really empowering for us in our own connections to utilize that, not to recognize that out there thing is really about us cultivating that inner thing. And that's what I'm hearing you say. So is there anything else you have, Denise? Anything
Just
else
a
you can share?
really, really cool, powerful healing, especially coming through, energies coming through, and just working with the new guides, and had a very, very chill holiday time. We made the choice to stay in town instead of driving up to Sandpoint. And I don't think I've done that in over 40 years, except for when my family came here. And, you know, not necessarily because of weather, but partially because of weather, but just giving ourselves permission to just have that week and a half to just, I didn't have anything scheduled. So definitely filled the time, but it was really, really needed to just integrate everything that's happening. I feel so much of the collective stuff, and to just kind of sort out. And I felt like I was really nesting, and not in resistance to movement, but just really going within. And I don't really give myself permission to do that very often. So it was really, really good for me. But I kind of fought with myself. I'm not going to lie. I have all this stuff to do. I should be doing more. And I had things that I wanted to get to, and I just didn't. And I just kind of let myself be. And that's something that I'm working with. Just allowing myself to just be. Lisa's clapping.
It's so important.
Yeah.
Stillness, being in the stillness and the beingness. Yes.
Yep. Dennis says hi.
Well, thank you.
So
Hello.
he's listening in the background over here.
Well, thank you for sharing. Wow.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah. Wow. It's such an honor. Well, I know you have to go, Paula, at some point. So let's go ahead and jump up to Paula. Do you have anything to share or to ask, or both?
Yeah, a little bit of both. Hi, everyone. It's so good to see everybody. So Susan, that really struck a nerve when you said that about something, because my driving lately, it's like, I'll think, there's no traffic coming, and I'll make my turn. And all of a sudden I got someone behind me honking, and I'm going, where did they come from? It's like, I didn't see them. But so I laughed about that, because I thought, yeah, I have that same thing. I'm thinking maybe I shouldn't be driving anymore. But really, what came to me tonight to bring up was, I have been blessed with the urge of prayer the last couple of weeks. It's just rolling out of me. When I'm talking to people, I'll say, I'm being led to have a prayer. It's not, it isn't something I would normally just do, but they're the strongest prayers. The power that's coming through with all these new energies. I just wondered if anybody else is noticing anything like that, with a little bit more speaking out and doing that kind of thing. So that's what just it for me tonight.
All right. Anyone have anything to share on that before I jump in? Go ahead. Anyone just turn on.
I'm
would
with
say
you,
yes,
Paula.
more of it,
Oh, sorry. Go.
more of that energy coming too.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about Kay for a moment. Kay would go through periods of where she was really into the advanced woo-woo stuff, as she called it, the things we do here, the woo-woo stuff. And then she would be back being absolutely just a standard Christian, just a standard, but she would also have times where she was into meditation and other times were into prayer. So, prayer is incredibly powerful. It's a form of meditation and connection, and it's incredibly powerful and transformative. So if you're being called to do it, and I sense that you have a real connection with that right now, then do it, because the more you cultivate it, it helps others, but it's also your inner growth is just blossoming as you're doing it. So that's what I have to share.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that insight.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing it. I'd love to hear about all the things that are happening with everyone, because there's so many. We're doing some similar things, but we're each doing unique things, and I love to hear about it. Lisa, do you have anything to share, to ask, or both?
Hey everyone, so good to see everyone. Yeah, lots of energy. I had just this ton of energy come in New Year's evening. As soon as it struck midnight, fireworks were going off, so I kind of woke up, and then it was just like this energy just surging in so intensely I couldn't sleep till 4 a.m.
Wow.
So I was a little unexpected. Usually I try to stay up and meditate and just feel what it's like, but it just like came in very strongly. So I feel like this year is going to be quite intense. A lot of changes, a lot of stuff shifting, and it's just moving so fast. You guys notice it's like the months are passing so fast now. I have these moments where I was super busy November, December with my jewelry business and doing orders and stuff like that. So I'd have to like take moments to kind of breathe and slow down, because I would just start getting overwhelmed. And it wasn't because, a little bit was because of all the things I had to get done, but it was all this stuff going on inside me, all this shifting and expanding and stuff moving out. And I was like, it is a rockin' rodeo inside me right now. So that's kind of what's been happening. I'd say after the retreat, I had stomach issues again for maybe like a month, where I couldn't really eat regularly. I was just doing like more of like my smoothies and soup and some crackers, and that was kind of it. So, but that kind of shifted. So that's a good thing. I think more stuff was coming up and being released.
Absolutely.
Let's see what else. I'm really excited. I sent some of you guys this link to what's happening in March. I don't know if you looked at it yet, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm being prepared for that, and already getting ready, and have been kind of going into that, what we call the Heaven's Cross, starting to move into those other realms. So I'm very excited for that to happen for all of humanity. Yeah, it's going to change everything. If we start to become more connected to our own souls, we don't have that veil. That's huge. So I'm very excited about that. I've been experiencing more of my own soul. That presence just comes in. It's been coming in more and more, and that's been super exciting, because I just feel this warmth and this love and this and it's hard to explain. It's like this light, this warmth, and this nurturing energy that just encompasses my whole being. And so that's that relationship. I've been really focused on developing more of a relationship with my own soul, inviting it to come with me through my day, to experience with me. That has been really wonderful. And then something I wanted to share with you guys that happened to me, I think it was just maybe 2 days ago. I was reading an article from somebody, and they had mentioned something that I had listened to, and they were talking about having kind of that overwhelming feeling and from time to time. And so I was relating to that because she was talking about how, again, so much is happening inside us. And so what she had stated in there is that in a message that she had heard, it was a person that has actually crossed over, ascended master that left. He was actually only 25. But he said, start to ground into yourself. And so that came up for her. And she says, well, when I think of grounding, I only think of the earth. And so how do I ground if I'm going into these other places and there's really no earth? And so she sat down and she just allowed herself to just ground into herself. And she had this magnificent energy just coming out of her heart chakra and through her whole body, and just kind of this expansion. So I was like, well, that's interesting. So I sat down and I said, okay, I just took some deep breaths and I said, I'm going to just ground into myself. No, didn't have any visualization in my mind, nothing. This shaft of light just started coming through my whole being, through my whole body, down through my feet. It's like it went through this way and then it expanded this way. And it's probably the most grounded I've ever felt. And the knowingness that I got through it was that it's grounding my divinity here within this body. And so anyways,
Wow.
try it out, see what happens. So I'm just been kind of playing with that a little bit, and pretty exciting.
Wow. Sounds like things are happening for you.
Yeah, I think some things are happening.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing. Wow.
Yeah.
Lots of things going on for you. Wow. It's amazing.
Thanks.
Wow. I don't have much to say. I just listening, and it's like, wow, it sounds like an experience that's really working for you. And, we talk about events that happen out in the world. And I'm going to go back to Joseph Campbell. I think all of you know who Joseph Campbell was. And he talked about, when in mythologies and with big events that happened in whatever it is, people talk about Moses and the 10 Commandments or Jesus or Buddha or whatever. And he said, it's all about revelations, which are insights, and they can come in energetically, they can come through words or whatever, and transformations, revelations and transformations. That's what it's about. So, and again, I'm going to tie to the Upanishads. So if there's something out there that's resonating with us in here, that's when it's relevant. And that's when things actually have a really transformative, we really grow spiritually. This is when big things happen in our lives. But for so many, and many on the spiritual path, they're looking for these external events to be the transformative event, the transformation in the world. But if it doesn't touch us, it has little effect. So it sounds to me like what you're having happen right now with, the thing coming up in March, is there's a real connection with you energetically with it. And so for anything to have a real effect, we have to connect with it. So if it does, that's great. That means those energies are present within yourself, and those are going to be the connections that, the insights and transformations that bring you to the next levels that you're ready for. But if we don't connect with it, that's when it becomes like, oh darn, why, what happened? And so I just thought I'd share that. That's from Joseph Campbell. He talked about in any of these things in our spiritual growth and any huge events that we look at spiritually in any religion or any background, it always comes to revelations and transformation. So that's all I have to share with it. I just thought I'd share it. It sounds to me like lots of stuff's happening. So thank you. Pat, do you have anything to share or ask or both? Oh, there she is.
I can show you guys who I am, messy or not.
Okay.
Things have just been, pretty quiet for me. I guess we're just kind of focused on John and his health right now.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I'm in one of those personal quiet trends to where I feel like just now I'm close to another one of those breakthroughs or upslides or whatever we want to call it. And if you see anything that may help me approach that, I would appreciate it.
I think you're doing it in what is keeping it kind of, I won't say status quo, that's not true, it's moving. It is you're working, your focus with John and that sort of thing. You're having to, your energies are needed to be there for those things, but the connections are being made. It's happening. So once things get taken care of there, it's going to allow you'll all of a sudden whoop, find yourself moving up, and that kind of naturally happens. The other thing that keeps happening, and as everybody was talking so far, as these energy, as we get anchored higher and higher, and it's happening at such a rapid rate. Every time I think it's going to slow down, it just speeds up some more. As we go higher and higher and higher, the energetic baggage, however you think of it, energetic attachments, emotional baggage, however we refer to it, we always refer to it as emotional baggage or just baggage, spiritual baggage. Those heavy energetic things can no longer exist. Their frequencies are no longer compatible with who we are. And what happens is lots of it just falls away. And occasionally some of it, because part of our subconscious holds on to it, it gets processed through our energy fields. So if you find yourself having stuff coming up, although it's annoying and it can sometimes be a little bit disconcerting, it just kind of makes our day not as smooth as it would be. Just know that's happening because all these energetic connections are being made and it's being released. So the stuff that we're experiencing, we can experience some old emotional feelings or some emotions or some having some, I don't know, deja vus from past lives. It's because that's being released. It's a good thing, and just bless it and send it on its way. That's going to continue to accelerate as part of this process too, I think for everyone. So
thanks for sharing all that for all of us.
Yeah. So when people say, "Oh, this stuff's coming up," and and they say, "I'm reverting back to who I used to be," it's like, no, it's just the opposite. It's just being released. It's just bless it and send it on its way. It's happening because we're going higher, and that ballast off that balloon has to fall away. So
way cool. And it's so wonderful to see everybody here.
I know.
Hi, all you guys.
Oh, it's awesome. Oh, well, thank you, Pat. Is there anything else? I don't want to. Oh, it looks like Paula might be leaving here soon. But Pat, do you have anything else?
I really don't. I know most often I do, but it's just real quiet right now. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And just so you know, because of all that's going on, it kind of needs to be quiet right now. Just so you know, that's why the stuff that's happening to you is happening, but it'll manifest later when a few things are sorted out, and you know what those things are. All righty. All right, let's switch over here to Franny. Hello, Franny. Do you have anything to share, to ask, or both?
Hi, everybody. I echo Pat's comments. It's so nice to see everybody. Well, let's see. I've been wanting to go somewhere warm, so I'm thinking about that trip that I mentioned to you, and warm and sunny, sunny and out of the winter climb. So I'm thinking about that trip, and not so much for the workshop, but just for the location. So that's one thing I wanted to mention. The other is that, Jeff, we had just finished talking and I was kind of feeling good. I'll tell everybody that I have a family member that occasionally wants to borrow money. And I've been talking to Jeff about that. And I've said no several times. And then I could feel an energetic shift where things were going better for he and his wife. And I felt like I was kind of off the hook, like he wasn't going to be bugging me for a while. Well, Jeff and you and I just talked a few days ago. I just got a text from him yesterday saying that he wants to take out a loan, and or he wants to get a loan. And it's like, oh, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Because I was hoping that he was kind of on a new track with, his work is going well. And you were saying the old behaviors are still there. The old patterns are still there. So, I just wanted to let you know that I thought I'd call him back this morning, but I didn't get there. So it'll either be tomorrow or Sunday. And it was also one of those messages of call me right away, call me right away. No, I'm not going to call you right away. Your emergency is not my emergency.
That's
so
right.
I guess those are the two situations. If you have anything to comment on, I'd be glad to hear it.
Well, I think you already know. I mean, thank you for sharing. I mean, thank you for sharing. It's just, that's wonderful. And yeah, and your insights about where you're on the trip, you're looking for for the location, and energetically speaking, that is an absolutely wonderful place to go. Just so you know. And because you have that insight about it, it will be much more rewarding for you to do the trip if you decide to go. And your higher guidance, as far as the family member, your higher guidance just wanted you to know that because it was coming. And you have such a giving heart and loving person that they wanted you to know what was coming and why it was coming, and now you know what to do. And so that's good, wonderful, because your life, boy, all I can say just in the forum, just to say is that you're being guided to do things that you need to do, and other people's encumbrances aren't part of it. I'll just say it that way. So anyway, and that's from them. That's not me. That's them saying, you're hearing my words, but that's their message for you. So thank you.
And I think hearing you say that, this was part of a pre-lifetime agreement.
Yes.
Yes. To be in this position and to help mentor or help provide opportunities for growth. So I think that's given me a way to look at it, and I'm okay with that. I mean, even though it causes me some dismay at times, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, and I'm willing to, stretch and grow and do whatever I need to do to kind of be that person for him. So anyway, thank you. Thank you for your guidance. And I wanted to say to Lisa, the stuff about Heaven's Cross is so interesting. So I don't know, where we'll go from here, but I look forward to hearing more about that as well.
Yeah, and if you're called, I always believe that if something resonates with us, it's funny, we all have 5 people can listen to, a spiritual event, a speech or a presentation. 3 people will think it's absolutely awesome, and 2 people think, well, so what, and that's because each of us is in a different place. And if it resonates with us, that means that those are the energies that are obviously whatever it is that's being talked about is part of. And if it's resonating with us, then it can be really powerful. It can be the revelations and transformations in our lives. And that's, so yeah, It's great. So thank you. Yeah, and just so you know, and this is from your high self, Franny, just be loving with this individual, but it's going to have to be tough love, because as we said, this person, to get this person to do the things that need to happen, nudges don't work. It's in the shoving department, it's in the really hard push from the universe department to get that person to do what needs to be done. And the beauty of it is you can say it in such a loving way to where the message will be received, may not like it, but it will be received. And if anyone can do it, you are the one who can do it. So
Thank you.
I'm glad it's you who chose to do this in this life, because this is something that's really needed for this individual after all these lifetimes. So thank you. All right. I'm going down to the lower left part of my screen because that's where Brook is. Brook, hello there and welcome. Do you have anything to share, anything to ask, or both?
Well, first of all, sorry I'm so late. We're out camping out deeper in Texas, and I thought, I forgot to get a call because we're an hour off from Mountains time. So
that's right.
But so I didn't want to come in late and just miss everything that's already been shared. So I don't really have much to ask other than I think I've shared the last time together, things started to happen, and I was appointed to council, but then after that, I was actually elected to be the president of the council, which was quite interesting because I'm down here. So I've got to get more involved with my tribe and everything in Alaska. And again, that was all what came out during our weekend together. And so it's interesting to see that things are happening still in that area of my life. And so that's pretty exciting and makes me wonder just how things are going to happen there compared to where I'm at down here in El Paso, and still integrate working down here and working more up there. Already planning another trip up to Alaska. I went up in December, and I'll go up again the first weekend in February for some council business. And so, but spiritual wise, just things are just on a move there, I guess. It's just a matter of seeing how it all plays out and how it fits in.
Well, thank you for sharing. And in regard to what you said, what's important for you to know, and this is from I'm going to call the spiritual chiefs in the etheric realm, from them, it's all the group of them, is you're being used as both an instrument and a vessel of light for the tribe as well as the chiefs and the leadership there. And even when you're just virtually there, whether you're just on the phone or just in conversation or visiting, you are a vessel of the energies for them that they're ready to receive. You're an earthly vessel of it, and that's really powerful for them, and they don't even know it. And it helps them receive the energies they need so that they can have the insights and connections that they need to have for the growth, not only for themselves, but to lead the tribes. And you're an instrument in that, being who you are as a creation of the divine, as a child of the divine. You're able to share things as a spiritual being and master that help in other ways, in very practical ways, for them to do the things that they need to do, and to help the organization and help things just get them organized, get them set, and help facilitate them, oftentimes without ever doing anything yourself, just being there and sharing. And it's really instrumental. And they being the chiefs in the etheric realm, and there's a number of them, I can't even tell you how many, like a dozen of them right now speaking, and they're just pretty much in unison. They want you to continue to do that. They very much value, and and they honor you for being open to do this. And they know that it's going to be an increasing commitment in the future for you, but one that's going to pay dividends for not only yourself and your own spiritual continued growth into higher levels of mastery, but also for the tribe and for the individuals within the tribe and the leadership, all of it. So that's what they have for you.
Oh, well, thank you, Jeff.
You're welcome.
But it is good to see everybody.
Yeah. Wow. All I'm going to say is just wow. Just for everybody. Just wow. Everyone is just really plugged in and doing the things they need to do. And it's just incredible to see. And I'm getting radiated from all of you. I mean, I'm getting it from every one of you as a channel, and we're all channels for each other, as we always talk about. It's like it's really coming through right now. So it's going to take me till like 1 a.m. to get to sleep. So, but thank you. It's a good kind of insomnia. So that's a wonderful kind. I love it. So, is there anything else, Brooke, before we move on?
No, not right now. Thanks.
No, you're welcome. Thank you. Jessica, we haven't seen you in a while. Do you have anything to share, anything to ask, or both?
Hi everyone.
Hello.
Yeah, so I've had a ton of anxiety like right before the end of the year, and then as soon as the first came around, it just felt like the energy changed a lot, and just seems like this year will be a lot better in some ways. But the question I have is, I've been having some problems with my cat, and I don't know if it's related to what's going on with me or if it's just the cat, but like he's been rubbing all the fur off his ears, and he's scabbing, and shaking his head, so I don't know if it's energy or if it's mites or if it's an allergy or it's heart stuff, or we've just kind of been going through the gamut, and I have no idea, and it doesn't seem like it's been going on for 3 or 4 months. So I didn't know if you had any insight about that.
Yeah, actually, your high self and your guides and divine. I'm getting a bunch of stuff. First, they want you to know about what's happening with you. And you've had these old patterns, and we're all going through this in this accelerated time of growth. And this is what Edgar Cayce talked about way long ago, June. Though for those who knew the healer, Dr. McKimmey, we're in those times right now. And you just had a whole bunch. I'm just seeing it as it's kind of hard to talk about how I'm seeing it symbolically, but a whole bunch of old patterns just ready to fall away. And when the new energy came in, you've been preparing for this, and all of a sudden you were just ready to let it go. And a lot of the subconscious stuff just fell away, and the new energies came in to replace them. So that helped to really lighten the load, shift you a lot, so your balloon can float upwards another 100, 200 feet into to the next levels of the etheric connections, and allow you to move into the patterns that you're ready for right now. With that said, because of the kinds of energies that have been coming through, your cat has some natural things that are just happening that have to do with the age of the cat and just where it's at. But it also has to do with the energies coming through you. It's been pretty intense for your poor kitty, and it's going to manifest at the physical level. And just so you know, I'm going to digress just for a moment, because this applies why it's affecting your cat, but it also applies to everyone here, because this is more true of females than it is males, although it's true of both. In mythologies, and this I'm just saying mythologies, and I just mean in any spiritual way of thinking, when the top god happens to be a goddess, her body is the world. Female is what it's all about. It really is. Joseph Campbell said the same thing. Or her body is the universe. Women, females, tightly tie their psychological and spiritual identities, more so than they even know, with the connection with the universe and with the world. They become, the woman is the vehicle of life. That is what women are. And with that said, because of the growth that you've had, these energies are coming through in your world and manifesting not only in your body, but your poor kitty cat is being, so a lot of the energies have to do with that. And it can manifest physically. I mean, it can show up as with, you could say mites or whatever it is, but it has to do with an energetic basis. And what I'm getting is your kitty needs to get grounded. And what I was told by your high self is that you know how to do it. You know, just let yourself be guided and help connect your kitty so that these energies can be grounded out, and it'll help stabilize the situation for kitty cat.
Okay. Yeah, because he's only 3, so
Yeah.
So
it just has to do with the morphology of where he's at right now. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, awesome. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and again, it will show up as physically, but once you do the energetic stuff, the physical stuff will wane, and I think you'll have some insights on what to do, and there might be some foods associated for the kitty, but I don't know what they are. Does anyone else here have anything to share? If you have anything to share, please, that you're getting, please share with Jessica.
I can tell Jessica that our cat has had ear mites ever since he's a baby. And that he's like, you'll see him itching at his ears quite often. He'll go through periods where he doesn't, and then he also scratches the fur right off of his body in certain places. So I'm going to have to get him into the vet to be looked at and see if they can put some ear mite stuff in his ears. That's just on a physical level, of course.
Yeah.
Well, I gave him mite stuff, and that didn't help either.
Okay, then it's probably everything Jeff is saying.
Yeah. I do think there's I think there's a physical component to it, because it definitely manifests in the physical. And I'm going to use Deborah as an example. My friend Kay, who only a couple people here know, myself and Pat, when things happen to her energetically, they literally manifested in the physical in a very huge way. And I've come to know, and that's why I talked about being the female. When energetic transformations happen to us and we have some blocks about it, especially with females, some baggage that hasn't quite been released. When you start seeing things happen in your body, that's a definite indicator things are happening with you energetically. And just know that those are the origins of it. And with that, it doesn't mean we don't have to deal with the physical component. Probably we may have to, but if we know that the energetic spiritual aspect is what's genesis of it, we can, with that insight, we can have a better, we can have a more holistic approach to resolving whatever it is that's happening. And with your kitty cat, that's definitely true too. There is a physical component, but there's also definitely an energetic. And because of your connection with your kitty, oh my goodness gracious, you're like pouring the voltage right into your kitty cat. It's good, but probably kitty cat isn't quite ready for it yet. So,
yes, he's very close to me.
Yeah.
But,
anyway, well, thank you. Is there anything else, Jessica?
Thanks. No, I think that was it.
All right.
Well, I appreciate it.
You're welcome. All right. I don't mean to make you last, Marci, but last but not least, Marci in beautiful, non-snowy Hawaii. Just not that I'm jealous at all.
Hi, everybody.
I'm envious. You're in non-snowy Hawaii. I love it. So anything to share? Anything to ask, or both?
Oh, boy. Well, when you first mentioned the thing about the tide going out, I was really getting a kick out of it. I thought you were going to talk about tsunami, though, because we've got the earthquake thing going on. And the other day was when the earthquakes and there's a tsunami, then the tide goes out and it goes way out. And that's how you know that it's coming. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I thought you were going to say about that. But I don't even know what to say. I'm feeling the earthquakes like it's my own body. So it can be like, the nausea and the confusion and all of that going on. And there's lots of little tremors going on, and it's all on the big island, but it comes over here too. So that's challenging. All the stuff that Lisa was talking about with the energy going on, it's like a carnival in my body. The physical stuff, like you're saying with Deborah, same here. It's been going on for a long time. Just, I know it's energetic. Just looking forward to more density being gone, I would say. More of the density. I don't know that it's what you call baggage. I think it's probably a little different than that. But it's if I'm not in 0 point, if I'm not in my heart, it's right there. And it's really hard to get back in my heart when it comes in. And sometimes it lasts just a couple hours, sometimes it's all day, and it's persistent. And I can see that it's like I can see in a way that it forces me to keep going there, to keep being in the 0 point or as close to it as I can be. But if you have anything you can say about that?
Probably not much more than we have. Right. Right now the shift of the energy moving up for the Earth and our soul group, and of course each of us has our own life path plugged into that because we're all part of the collective. We're using the energy, that collective experience to shift ourselves up. But you say less density. That's a good way of putting it, because as we go up higher, the heavier vibrations are falling away that we used to be connected to, those, and it's a lot lighter, independent of whatever emotional, energetic attachments we have or baggage or however we think of it. The other thing that came through as you were talking is there's currents in the Earth, and there's actual people that know how to do it. There's all these currents that flow through the Earth, energies, and they can be tapped. And when they become strong, I used to feel sometimes, in fact, when we were in Eastern Washington doing one of the seminars there in Electric City, I felt like the ground was waving. And I know the ground wasn't waving, but that has to do with the Earth energies coming through. And you are certainly experiencing that right now, Marci, and especially Hawaii, because that's where the creative energies, that's where, the Elohim, the Aloha, the earthly creative energies are very focused there, and they're very pronounced, and that just accelerates or exacerbates in a good way all that's happening. And you are certainly experiencing that. Not only the earthquakes, but what I get is those energies that are flowing along with the earthquakes that you're sensing. And just so you know, these energies are pretty powerful. I saw a show, was one of those back in it was probably 1970s, 1980s, one of those, I don't know what they want to call it, oddity shows. And they had this guy, this old man, he lived in, I think, Eastern Washington, interestingly, or possibly Colorado, I don't recall. It was in the plains. And he knew about these energies, and he had mapped them out on his property. And what he did is he dug ditches in the directions that the energies would go. And then he brought them to a point, all the different channels of energies, and he put he had 3 sides had cement where it all fed in, and it had a cover on it, a wooden cover. And it was a cloudy day out there. It was a cloudy day, and the people, he says, well, watch this. And he showed the film crew. He says, now look up there. He says, take a look, get your cameras and point toward the sky. And it was just some cumulonimbus clouds and fully clouded sky. And what he did was he opened this door. And within about 25 to 30 minutes, there was all the clouds moved away. These earth energies are incredibly powerful. And he used it. And he said, these are the kinds of things that he says, I use these earth energies, and I forgot what all he talked about using them for. But he had all kinds of purposes, very practical ones that he'd use it. I mean, one of them was if he wanted to have a sunny day, he'd just open that door, let all the energies from the earth go out and then up, and it would open up the sky. So what you're experiencing is very real and also incredibly powerful, especially again in Hawaii, just because of all that happens there. So that's that. What?
Well,
go ahead.
Well, I'd say that it's part of the whole thing of grounding into the earth is a whole different feeling than having the earth in your heart and grounding into your heart. It's just a whole different thing. On the last meditation that you did at the very end, when we did the grounding exercise, it was just like, oh no. as soon as you did the grounding part, I mean, I was just high floating, in the meditation. And as soon as we did the grounding part, it was like, no, not this. Because it's a whole different energy that way.
It is. And if you're ready for what you do, that's what we should always follow our own guidance. We offer obviously grounding techniques that work for people, especially for new people that are just new to the meditations, to keep them grounded and centered, because when they go back out in the world, they're not disconnected and find themselves pinging off the walls. But if you have your own approach, then certainly use that. We should always follow our own guidance.
Do you see anything I'm missing? It seems like I don't know. I'm not looking for anything changing, but it just seems like I just don't want to be missing something and be in a space of stagnation.
You're not even close to that. You have all kinds of things happening. Okay, not even remotely close to that. But I can share, and it's okay to share in this forum, that it's for you to know that you are. I don't know what this means. I don't know what it means in your physical life. If it means staying in Hawaii or moving or whatever. But you're coming to the end phase of, and there has been a number of different chapters in the time you've been there, and all these things happening. But this whole phase of being there. You're coming to the point of culmination. I don't know if that means it evolves to the next level and you stay there and do other things, or if it means you leave and move back to the mainland or somewhere else. I don't know what it means, but you're coming up on that right now. Next few months, you're moving into it.
Okay.
You're moving into it. And that's part of what you've been feeling, some of that stuff. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's wonderful, because I know that time is a weird thing, right? It's not, it's just what we use to get information across to each other. So it's hard to pinpoint. So I appreciate that there's some kind of something out there.
There is. You're moving into these phases, and I'm seeing there's going to be some new, well, they're already happening, some new energies, and you've been experiencing, and I'm going to call it with you just because of the way you experience it, these oddity energies and the way things happen, and it's like, why? That's kind of odd. That's kind of different. They're moving in, and they're going to be coming in and integrating with you to allow you to move into this whatever's next. And I don't know that it's completely decided within you what direction you're going to choose in this new direction. There's choices within it, and that's all I know, because they're not letting me know more than that, probably because I blab and tell you, but so they're not letting me know. So anyway, but it is coming, and they do want you to know that. So as the stuff starts coming in and things seem different, you get a different challenge, and what's that about? That's what it's about.
Okay, good. Good. All right. Thank you so much. It's so good to hear everybody's voice. I'm looking forward to seeing your picture on the replay.
Yes. Well, I'm just this and just enormous, tremendous channels. Each of you is like a vessel, as well as of instrument of all these energies. And of course, we all for each other. And so, it's what a blessing it is to be together like this,
It is.
Oh. So thank you all. Thank you just for being here. Well, I just love it. Every month we have a chance.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
Oh, you're welcome. It's such an honor. So Does anyone else? I don't have much else to share than that. That they really wanted to, they being the divine, that was who kept talking to me, reminding me, make sure you mention it, because what'll happen is I'll think about mentioning it, and then I'll say, oh, maybe I won't mention it. And so they know if they keep saying 3 times in a row, if they say mention something, I'll say, okay, I got it. 3 times is the number. I'm supposed to mention it. That with the dynamism of the collective of our soul group, and much of the soul group, they don't have a spiritual connection, and because all these new connections are being made and the old ones are being released, they don't have a way of dealing with it. They're just getting pinged around in the machine. So if you see a lot of that's happening out in the world, that's what that's about. They just don't have the connections, and we as light workers are to provide this this anchoring of the new energies and help people facilitate whatever they can for the growth. But each of our lives is going to our life paths are going to be accelerated as part of this dynamism, because we chose to do that. So if you notice all these things happening in your life and the acceleration and all the stuff, this is the time for it to happen, and embrace it and flow with it in the way that you know is right for you. And wow, there's so much happening. Just listening to all of you, just listening to all the things happening is amazing. I'll just go around. Does anyone else have anything to share? Susan, do you have anything to share?
Yeah, I do. I want to say that I'm in such gratitude for being with all of you, that it supports me on my journey, and I get insights from everyone. As everyone is talking, I think, oh yeah, I get that, and I get that. That's a new way of looking at something. Mm-hmm. And I'm so grateful for all of you. So thank you for that. And Jeff, for you for doing this.
Well, thank you. And again, to everyone, I agree with you. You all say something, and next thing you know, I was like, wow, wow. And then I have to process it sometimes for a little while. I mean, it's like, wow, that really got me. Now I need, so much happens when we get together like this. So yes, mm-hmm. Thank you, Susan, for saying that, sharing that. Lisa, do you have anything to share or anything else before we?
I just wanted to ask if there was anything my guides needed me to be aware of that I'm not. If there's anything.
Yes. And they want you to get it organically. You're doing what just keep doing what you're doing. And yes, boy, that really came through strongly. Yes, but they're going to tell you, and they want to do it. It's really important that it happened that way. So that's all I have to say.
You shouldn't ask my question.
I'm learning it. That's one of my lessons in life, is that they give me information and they tell me not to say it. And my test is to keep my mouth shut. So I'm working on it. Now, I'm going to share my friend Kay again. She used to do tea leaves. And by the way, she didn't need the tea leaves. She had all the information anyway. But in her world, if something came up and it was a piece of information that was maybe something I didn't want to hear, it wasn't her telling me, it was the tea leaves telling me. So even though it was her really telling me, but she could sit there and say, oh no, there's nothing more. And I could see that it was in the cup. I could energetically see that she had it, she knew it, and she had all kinds of information about it, but she could have a poker face like you never saw. And she, nope, I'm not. And I knew she wasn't supposed to tell me, but I was still going to try to get it anyway. So I'm working on that. I aspire to be like Kay and be able to have a poker face and say, nope, there's nothing else. And so anyway, there is more for you, and it's coming, and you're getting it. You're doing what you need to do, and just keep doing that. That's what they want you to do. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to share real quickly, because you were talking about the rest of the world and the disconnection and mm-hmm. the struggle. And that's one of the reasons I'm so excited about this event that's coming up. And of course, nothing we'll probably won't notice anything on that day, but it is the beginning of the dissolving of the veil, which will allow everybody to start to have those connections again. And some people may not be aware of it. Some people may ignore it. But the thing that's so wonderful about it is the fact that we will all have access to our own soul, our own divinity with a lot more ease as that veil starts to fall away. So I'm just very excited about that.
Yeah, I can see that. So wow. We'll see how things manifest as time goes on. That's always, I'm always interested. We tune into stuff and we get information. And I don't know about you, but sometimes the information later when it happens, it is what the thought was going to happen, but it happens in a way that I didn't necessarily expect. I don't know about you, sometimes things happen in ways that, what is it? The divine works in mysterious ways. I'm just going to leave it at that. So we'll see I'm looking forward to seeing how things unfold. So thank you, Lisa. Pat, anything else?
I'm excited about Heaven's Cross too. I want this headband to be off totally so I can just be luminescent all over the place.
Well, you're pretty bright right now. So there we are. Keep shining, getting brighter there. We'll be illuminating the house there without the lights on and stuff. So
then I can fly around. I can buzz over and see Susan in Canada, and I can go see Denise and Lisa and everybody. Anyway, thank you, Jeff, for everything you do, and thanks everybody that's here. Love you so much.
Yes,
You too, Jeff.
Denise, anything from you? Anything to share, or any last questions, or anything?
I do, and you might just tell me what you told Lisa. But I have been feeling so much, it's pressure and swirling and all kinds of things going on in the third eye and a little bit in the crown, but mostly in the third eye and even back here a little bit. And so I don't know if you have any insight about that. It's been more intense than I've ever felt it.
Well, actually, it was kind of, when you first got on and talked, it was really like, wow, I was very much being shown all these things are happening with you. You're being rewired right now.
Feels like it, yeah.
Okay, and this has been happening long before the seminar, but your decision to come to the seminar was huge from the universes and divines and your higher guidance. And they were very pleased that you chose to do so and made that happen. Mm-hmm. And as such, that's accelerated the path you're on, and you're moving into your spiritual path. If it was, all things are spiritual, but you're moving into what it is you're doing. And boy, I got to walk the line here. So as you're doing that, that's going to grow more, and things that are part of old patterns are going to fall away more. That's what they want you to know. So that's what's happening, and that's what's going to continue happening, and it's going to accelerate. And just so you know, if in the coming months, if you find something that was, I'm going to use the word sacred to you in your worldly life, and all of a sudden it's like moving away, before you cling on to it, go into meditation and reflection, because it could be your higher guidance. I'm not going to say what it is, just to know that's what they want you to do. Okay. And then, yes, that's it. You want me to be quiet now. So okay. That's it. That's all I have to share.
Okay. Just a lot going on.
Yes. And it's going to continue to do so. And for everybody, it's going to accelerate. The higher anchorings are happening because we're moving. Some people call it we're shifting into operating from this whole new level, and the old patterns that we've had for all these lifetimes that have served us well, more and more of those are going to continue to fall away. And with each person, it's going to be unique. It's not going to be the same for any two people, but there's going to be a lot of commonality that we're all going to share. So pretty awesome times that we're in. Yeah.
So fasten your seatbelts.
That's right. Hold on to your hats. That's right. So thank you, Denise. And thank you, Susan. You. Franny, anything else?
Jeff, just thank you for having this gathering of us and this opening where, you just come in and you feel the energy. And it's like you said, the combined, all of us being here together, allows the opening to be that much greater and the flow of light to be that much stronger. So I'm just really grateful to be here too. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And it is, I use the word multiplicative, but it really, it is. It's not just additive. It's not just accumulation of however many people here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11. It's multiplicative, and things happen that are happening right now as we're talking. They're anchored. Some new connections are being made. The processes that we're all in are being accelerated because of that. And it's also going out in waves out to the world and the soul group as a blessing to them. And they tell me up there, do not underestimate how powerful it is when we come together in these ways. So it is. So thank you. Brooke, do you have anything more? Brooke may not be there.
He's
All
showing
right.
a full moon
Nope.
back
I do.
Okay.
I'm on my phone and my screen's a little different than a computer.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, as I sit out here enjoying this campsite here in Texas, last weekend I was at the Gulf of Mexico on the coastline, just sitting right in front of the beach. I'm just so glad to be with all of you, like you've all said too, and to see the cameras on. I'd have my camera facing to me, but it's all dark. So I said, well, I'll face it towards the moon. Anyway, I appreciate what you shared that came in for me. And like Lisa and Denise and everybody else, if there's anything else that they'd like me to know, of course, I'd always appreciate that. But I was sharing a message with Franny a minute ago about, I sometimes hesitate what I might say because these calls are recorded. But, what I was talking about earlier, being more active with Alaska now and still here, and appreciate you saying just where I'm where I'm supposed to be, but I'm still being very open to where I may be guided to really be. And who knows where that'll take me. If I stay down here, stay where I'm at, or if I moved somewhere different, I just want to be open to that and be used to the best that I can be in this lifetime. And so that's always been my prayer anyway, to have God, Creator, to put me where I'm going to be used the most and where I'd be the most useful and for everybody. So.
And the only thing that they have for you to know is that you are, and some things that you are to be doing where you are right now and continue to do. It's really important that they happen, and you're plugged in and so you know what that is when it happens. And it will come in time when that decision is for what's next. That's all they want me to say, whether that's a move or whatever else.
Yeah, well, this past week, I appreciate that too, because this past week I've actually had some kind of intense conversations with some of the staff at some spiritual, energetic levels, and they really appreciated that. And I said, well, anytime, we can talk about this kind of stuff all day long, but it's just good to be able to feel free to share in such a way that we can. So.
And it helps them more than I think it helps them a lot. It helps them even more than you know.
Right.
It helps them more than they know, but it's affecting them more than they can even possibly consciously fathom right now.
Right.
In a very good way. So just keep it up.
Okay.
That's from them, by the way. That's keep it up.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And it's so good to see everybody. Pat, thanks for putting your camera on tonight.
Yes, we like that. Everyone's glowing. All right, Jessica, do you have anything to share, ask, or either?
Well, I just appreciate all the insights everybody's had, and it really kind of brings things together for me. And then, I didn't know if there was anything else I need to be doing or anything else I need to know. That would be great.
Yes, and it's coming relatively soon. For you to know and to do, but it could be, I'm going to use I don't know, hard to put words to this. It could be something that's not, it could be subtle. It could seem subtle, but it's more, it's kind of like, I'm going to call it, when an iceberg moves. That's a huge movement, but we may not recognize it for what it is. Or if we're out on the ocean and the tide comes in, the tide came in, but we didn't even know it happened. it could be along that lines, but yes, you're going to know and to do is coming for you, but it may not be as overt as one might want or expect. Just leave it at that.
I won't miss it, right?
No, it's going to happen
Okay.
to you.
Okay.
It's like the tide. If you're on a boat on the water and the tide's coming in, you're coming with it. So
Okay.
so,
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate all your help.
welcome. And last but not least, the awesome Marci. What do you have anything to share or ask or both? Marci, you there? Uh-oh. Well, if you're there, we can't hear you. Sometimes the connections happen from Hawaii, especially there on Molokai. So, are you there?
Oh, can you hear me now?
I can.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm here. I was talking and nobody could hear me. I just want to say thank you guys all so much for this good energy. It's been running the whole time of this call, and it's just wonderful. It's so uplifting. Oh,
Yeah.
I really appreciate it. I'm looking right now at the ocean, the spot where the whales jump, and sending all the energy of Hawaii over to you. And if anybody is looking for a good book to read about Hawaii, there's one called Bowl of Light, and it's about the kahuna from the Big Island. And it's all what's going on right now. So,
Well,
yeah,
thank
big
you.
aloha.
Well, aloha, and
Aloha.
send us your weather. I'm already tired of the snow. I'm ready for Hawaii weather. So
Come on over. Come on
yeah.
over.
Oh,
Get
thank
ready,
you.
though. It's intense.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you all. It's just what a blessing it is, and I mean that with all my heart. It's such a blessing when we all come together for all of us. But I feel like I get to be selfish and be just because it's just just being bashed in all your energies, and it's such a blessing. And just so you know, this is going to get posted tonight, and I used to write a whole bunch of stuff up. I said, you know what, we're all going to watch the video, so I'll just put a few comments on there in the post, and just the video out there for everyone. And because I think pretty much, whoever's on the call, we're the ones that go and watch the video again. I don't know how many. I don't think all that many people from outside our little group watch it because they weren't part of it. So, but if they do, they're going to certainly get the energy. They're going to get, in a good way, blasted with the wonderful blessings of energy from all of you and from the divine flowing through you. What is it? This Anjali, that the people in India use. This means the God in me greets the God in you, and the God in me, thanks you for the blessing from the God in you. So, with that said, blessings to all of you, and until next month. Namaste. Blessings and light to you.
Hey, good
Namaste.
night.
Yay.
Bye.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Night.
Good night.